Good morning. Welcome to Executing My Essence Ministries Freedom Fridays with your host, which is myself, Ashley D. Listen, y'all, we made it to Friday. And if you're anything like me, you are so excited because you want to get some rest this weekend and spend some time with your loved ones. So listen, while I have your attention for a brief moment, I just want to share a few words of encouragement with you on this Friday. So as you all know, we are concluding the Fruits of the Spirit theme this week, and we're concluding it with the theme self-control. So real quick, as always, I want to give you a brief definition of what self-control means. It means the ability to control oneself, in particular one's emotions and desires, or the expression of them in one's behavior, especially in difficult situations. So today I want to briefly talk about how we actually have freedom when it comes down to self-control. Now, oftentimes when we think about self-control, we think that it's stifling. We have limits. We have boundaries. It's just a lot of things we cannot do. And oftentimes, we want to do what we want to do. We want to go where we want to go. We want to say what we want to say. And that's not necessarily the case when you are a Christian believer. So oftentimes when we think about self-control, we have that feeling of just being restricted where we can't do anything at all. But today, I actually want to tell you, we actually have more freedom than what we think, when we choose to practice self-control. And so one of the things that I want you to know that self-control restricts us from diving into sin. Now, when we dive into sin, there are always consequences that, we sometimes have a hard time bouncing back from. And so when you practice self-control, you free yourself from those sins, those things that you struggle with, those things that the world say that we ought to be and we ought to do and we ought to say. You actually move away from that when you choose to be more disciplined with your actions, your way of thinking, the decision making. You actually kind of free yourself from the consequences that actually come out of choosing sin. So with that, we actually experience true freedom. With that, we actually can have the liberty to live the life that God intended for us. So today, I want to encourage you. I'm going to make this real short. I want to encourage you that practicing self-control actually is true freedom, even when we decide to create boundaries for ourselves. Because sometimes, boundaries allow us to in a place kind of give us more time to ourselves where, we can pray, we can meditate, we can ration what comes into our spirit, we can ration what comes into our life. And that gives us a little bit more peace. It gives us a little bit more if you know what I mean. So self-control, choosing to practice self-control every day actually gives us more freedom than actual restriction. It allows us to continue to walk in the will of God and experience the freedom as a Christian believer. And it also allows us to protect ourselves from the antics of the world, and protect ourselves, give us space and time to rejuvenate, to have peace, to have comfort, to do some of the things that we actually need to do internally for ourselves in order to push forward. So do not feel like when you practice self-control, you have complete restrictions, but there is more freedom to be you, freedom to care about yourself, to, care about your Christian journey, care about your life as just a man or a woman. So do not be discouraged. Do not feel like when you practice self-control, there is no freedom and you're restricted, but you actually have more freedom than you actually ever thought. So today, I hope something was said to encourage you and even kind of drive you to practice more self-control and to create more boundaries to protect your mind, your heart, and your spirit, and to align yourself with the will of God. I hope something was said to encourage you. Thank you so much for tuning in and to Executing My Essence Ministries Freedom Fridays with your host, which is myself, Ashley D. I love you with the love of Christ, and I will always challenge you to practice self-control. God bless you.